Oh, I think we have it. That's so awesome. Hold on, let's share this. Mm, mhm. Let's see. All right, I'm on about 3 minutes early because I really want to make sure, since we are just on YouTube, I really want to make sure that we get everybody here. This is just something new we're trying just over on YouTube. Let's see. And it looks like if you click that link, it will work. Good morning, Angel. Good morning. All right. I think we have it. I think we have it. How are you guys? Let me zoom this out a little bit more and get it to set so you guys can see. We are going to be working on Mr. and Mrs. Claus today. So let's go ahead and find those. And then we'll get started. I am super excited about this workshop, you guys. There's Mrs. Claus. Here's Mr. Claus. His face is all apart. Hold on 1 second here. Probably should have had this done before. There's that. There's his nose. There's his hand. Well, we tried to keep these to where they were all together. All right. And these we'll use for next time. Let's see. Why am I not zooming out the way I should? Let's see. Part of Christmas, day one, Mr. and Mrs. Claus. All right. Are we here? Can you guys still hear me, see me, all the things? I think we do have it set up pretty well. We're going to take autofocus off. Doo, doo, doo. All right. Let's go ahead and set these over here. How are you guys? I am so excited to be here with you guys. So excited to be here with you guys. Good, good, good. You can see me and you can hear me. That is a very important. All right. And I think we got our camera the way it needs to be as well. There's always different things that we have to adjust when we're doing live streams because they change stuff all the time. Change stuff all the time. So we're going to be painting one of these at a time. So I want to make sure that you can see the one that I am painting as we're painting it. We'll do each individual one. There we go. So let's go ahead and start. Welcome. This is our first day of the Heart of Christmas workshop, and this is about slowing down, painting with intention, and rediscovering the joy of the season in the presence of God. So today, we're going to start with a posture that unlocks everything else that we will create this week, and that is generosity. But the kind of generosity we're talking about isn't about how much you can give. It's about the spirit that you give from. And that is soul generosity. It's a kind that flows freely because it knows it's already full. When your heart truly understands how deeply loved, provided for, and seen you are by a good father, giving becomes like a natural response, not a chore. Okay. So I want you to kind of think about that as we talk about generosity in today. Um, Santa and Mrs. Claus help us see both sides of that kind of love in motion. One loud Santa, one quiet and steady, but both are equally sacred in God's eyes. And so I want to talk about that today. Let's dig in number first to Santa's joyful heart. We're going to do a little bit of our lesson and then we're going to do some painting. Each one of these days will take about an hour to an hour and a half, just depending on how much we chat and things like that. So, just kind of give you a rundown of what the week is going to look like. Every day is going to be alive at 9 a.m., with the exception of tomorrow, Tuesday, and our live will be at 1 p.m. because I have grandparents' day with my grandson at his school. So, 9 a.m. every day. If you cannot be here for the live, you will be able to catch the replays. They will be right here on YouTube. So if you are in the private group looking for the lives, you need to make sure that you're clicking the links that take you over here to YouTube. Okay. All right. So Santa's joyful heart. When you picture Santa, you can almost hear the sound of his laughter echoing through the air, like ho, ho, ho. It's the sound that spills joy into the room. Santa just brings joy. But that joy doesn't come from what he has, it's coming from what he gives. Santa gives because his heart is overflowing. His generosity isn't measured by the gift that he's giving, but by the joy in giving it. And I want you to think about that as you are giving this holiday season. That is a reflection of your Father's own heart. Scripture tells us that God loves a cheerful giver. That is 2 Corinthians verse 9-7. Giving is not about loss, it's about participation in God's delight. When you give with joy, you are echoing his nature. So I want you to think about as you paint your Santa today, as we paint our Santa today, I want it to remind us that we're getting it all messed up. I'm trying to make it. There we go. I want, as we paint our Santa, to remind us that generosity isn't meant to drain us, it's meant to fill us. Joy is the fruit that grows when love is overflowing. So think about that when you see any Santa through this holiday season, whether it's this ornament that you're painting, whether it's if you're out and about and Santa is ringing a little bell for donations, whether it's a Santa decoration that you might see at Hobby Lobby or at Walmart. I want you to remember that generosity that Santa gives is not meant to drain us, because think about that. We feel drained a lot during the holiday season. But that generosity is meant to fill us up. Joy is the fruit that grows when love overflows. Okay, so think about that as you see Santa and as you navigate this holiday season. And then we have Mrs. Claus. Remember, she's the quiet one. Mrs. Claus' nurturing heart. So while Santa carries the sleigh and the spotlight, Mrs. Claus is holding the home and often the unseen weight of care. Okay, you may have that as you are venturing through your holiday season. You're holding the home, the unseen weight of the care that you're giving. She is the warmth in the kitchen, the laughter that fills the quiet spaces, the one who gives behind the scenes without applause or acknowledgement. So her kind of generosity is nurturing generosity. It's the slow, faithful rhythm of love that tends to the souls in silence. And I know that you have felt joy on both of these fronts, the loud joy and the quiet joy. Okay. It's the slow, faithful rhythm of love that tends to souls in silence. She doesn't give for recognition. She gives for restoration. The ministry of nurture is one of our most sacred callings. So if you look at Galatians 6:9, that encourages us. Let us not grow weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up. And the harvest Mrs. Claus reaps isn't applause, it's peace. It's knowing her quiet service keeps hearts whole. So, in a world that glorifies big moments like Santa Claus, Miss Claus reminds us that the hidden work still matters, maybe even more so. So, today is about the gift of generosity. Together, Santa and Mrs. Claus teach us that generosity has many, many forms. Sometimes it's the big, bold, laughter filled kind that spreads contagious joy, but other times it's in the quiet consistency that keeps that love alive behind the scenes. But both are very powerful reflections of God's nature, and both are absolutely needed. Christmas generosity isn't about what you wrap, it is about what you release. You release control, you release hurry, you release fear, especially the fear of not having enough, being enough, or doing enough. When you release those things, you make room for grace to flow. True generosity is rooted in trust. When you trust that God is a good father who provides abundantly, you can pour out without the fear of running dry. You begin to see giving not as depletion, but as participation in divine overflow. If you look at Luke 6, chapter 6, verse 38, it really paints the most beautiful picture of this. Give, and it will be given to you. A good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over will be poured into your lap. That's not just a promise of provision. It is an invitation to abundance. So God fills what we are willing to empty. So as you paint today, Santa's joyful grin or Mrs. Claus' gentle smile, I want you to think, let each time you are painting something become an act of surrender. Let your art be your prayer. Lord, take what I have and make it holy. When you dip your brush into color or you're dipping your sponge, imagine God dipping his hand into your life, blending, shaping, filling every space in you that maybe feels dry or uncertain. Maybe you're heading into a season where you don't feel like you have much joy or generosity to give because the world has just been heavy. And maybe you're just questioning where God is in that right now. When you're creating these ornaments this week, you are reflecting the heart of a generous God. The smallest act done with love ripples into eternity. Your paint becomes praise, your creativity becomes worship. And this is how we begin with open hands, open hearts, and the joy of giving from the abundance of grace. So again, Santa's joyful heart, his laughter is holy joy, the kind that flows from knowing that we are loved. Santa's giving mirrors the Father, reminding us that joy is found not in what we keep, but in what we share. And then her nurturing heart, Mrs. Claus. Her strength is quiet, but her impact is eternal. She teaches us the unseen acts, the warm meal, the kind prayer, the kind word, the prayer whispered in secret. Those all carry the heartbeat of God's compassion. So, generosity that flows from love never leaves you empty. When you pour out what's in your heart, God fills it right back up. Joy multiplies in the giving. You don't need plenty to give meaningfully. God blesses the open hearted and not just the open handed. Generosity is not measured by how much you have, it's revealed by how much you trust. I want you to think about this. Jesus embodied generosity in every sense. He gave time to the overlooked, he gave compassion to the weary, grace to the undeserving. He didn't give to impress. He gave to restore. And he invites us into that same rhythm. Matthew 10:8 says, freely you have received, freely give. It- So if giving feels hard for you this season, I want you to ask yourself, where am I withholding joy because I feel empty? God never asks for what he won't replenish. He's not looking for your performance. He's longing for your presence. When your giving flows from gratitude instead of guilt, it becomes worship, and worship is the truest form of generosity. So I want you to ask yourself, and you can maybe write about this if you want, post an answer about this in the group. How can I give joyfully this season, not just in gifts, but my time, my presence, my prayers? Take a moment to think about your answer and simply whisper it to God as you are painting today, tomorrow, whenever you are working on these. Because sometimes the smallest offerings, a word, a smile, a heart turned toward heaven, are the ones that change absolutely everything. So I want you to think about that as you paint Santa and Mrs. Claus, because that is the nature of joy that we are wanting to share this holiday season. The loud, abundant joy that overflows to everyone, just like Santa. And then the quiet joy that nurtures. Okay. Sheila says she had to switch over to her phone. Hopefully, we are doing all right. Let me make sure that, um, let's make sure that we got everything going okay before we head to painting now. I am really excited to paint these with you guys. Wait a minute. We're looking for the heart of Christmas. There it is. Oops, nope. There it is. All right. So you can see it. And this will never be deleted. Okay. This will never be deleted because it is housed here on YouTube. So this is where you're going to come to get all of your workshop pieces today. All right. Let's move that a little bit. Okay. So I have a couple things I want to show you as we bring our loud joy and our quiet joy to life. Okay. I am using these paints. And there is a link to these in the group if you want to grab these. These are from Nicole at Afraid Not. And if you're going to get this bundle of 5, but I am using this one called Vintage Lace. But the bundle set that you can get cheaper than buying them individually is this set right here. Okay. So it's going to be the cactus, the carnation, the hollyberry, the fudgesicle, and the Tiffany. These are the ones that I'm going to be using all week as well as through the holiday season on the main page with everybody. So if you want to paint along with me in the exact colors that I will be using, it is these. We are also going to be giving away a bundle of these. As you paint your pieces this week, I want you to post them here inside the group. And I also say that if you are going to watch this replay a week from now, a month from now, maybe you don't have time to sit and actually paint this week, but you want to come and listen. I still want you to share your pictures a month from now, 2 months from now, whatever that looks like for you. Now, if you want to be in the drawing for a free paint pack, they do have to be loaded by Friday because we'll do this drawing on Friday. Okay. So I just want to make sure that I share that with you guys. I did not bring my little ornaments down here. Forgive me, I will have that down here tomorrow, the ones that we already painted. But I'm going to show you the 2 that we are doing today. All right, here's the ornaments. This is what we're going to be painting. And so we're painting these 2 today. We may paint them a little bit differently. We're going to be painting those 2 today. So these 2 have green backgrounds. We may not be bringing these to life in the exact same way. We may be doing something different, but we will be using all of these colors. So I'm going to leave that up for my reference. Also, today is starting ornament week on the main page. And so it's lots of ornaments. I will be live inside the on the main page as we venture through the week. I will be live there later today. And so it is a busy week. It's going to be so much fun and it's going to be full of ornaments. One thing that I do want to share with you that I might be using on these little cuties is a new stencil bundle. I have a new stencil bundle. This stencil bundle includes four stencils. So one of them is going to be this Christmas tree. We might be using these stencils, okay? But this is in the shop now. And these are 6 by 6 in size. So one of them is these little Christmas trees, and then you have ho ho ho. Let's turn it around. Ho ho ho. And then you have oops, some peppermint stripes if you want to do that. And then we have some snowflakes if you want to do that. All right. How about somebody give me a comment. Comment the word heart so I can make sure that we still have the live feed going on. And I got some people here with me because it looks a little bit different on the back end for me than it does to, than it does normally, like when I'm on Facebook. So if you want these, they are in the shop now. I just loaded a bunch of ornaments as well because we're going to have so much fun this week. So make sure at about noon is when I will be live on the main page today. All right, Angel said heart. So she can, y'all are still with me. I'm glad. All right, so we're going to be using this vintage lace. I might be using some other whites, but this is the one that we're going to be using the majority of the time. So I want you to think, man, I can't get that open. There we go. So I want you to think as you go through this holiday season, think about the generosity and the joy that we are able to give in so many ways. You can give it quietly or you can give it boldly like Santa does. Thank you, Anne. Thank you, Sheila. I do see you all. All right. I don't think I've opened these. So let's take a minute oh, they don't have little seals on them. Let's just make sure. Oh, and we're going to well, I used pink on Mrs. Claus before, but let's go ahead and we're going to use this teal, I think. Well, I don't know. Let's paint them as exactly as we brought them to life the first time. So for those of you that like um, resin, this is a great project to resin with, okay? Thank you, Elaine. This is a great project to resin with, okay? So actually, we're probably going to use some white paint pen as well. Actually, we're probably going to use all paint pen. We're going to skip this one. Let's go ahead and go put some of this back because um, we're going to use a paint pen instead. There we go. Let's put some of this back. I'm getting ahead of myself, not even thinking. So what is your spirit? Do you have a spirit of generosity that is loud like Santa? Do you have a spirit of generosity that is quiet like Mrs. Claus? You know, that's in their personality. That's who they are. That's how they share. And so I want you to think about that as you go through the holiday season and maybe challenge yourself to do the opposite as well. If you're not normally loud, um, boisterous like Santa, just think about that and how that brings everything to life. I'm so excited to put these together for you. Let's go ahead and take these off and we'll get him painted first. So we will probably do some resin work on these after we are all done. Let's go ahead and get our other colors out right now because we're going to use all of them but the teal. Well, we're not going to use the teal or brown today, honestly. Well, yes, we are going to use the brown because we're going to mix a tiny bit of the brown with the white so that, oh, that's a lot of brown. We're going to mix a tiny bit of brown with the white so we can create the skin color. We do not need that much brown though. Hold on. There we go. We don't need very much there, that's for sure. And that's probably enough. All right, we are going to use the red and we are going to use the pink, and we already have the green out as well. So good to see you guys. I'm so glad you guys are here with me today. It's going to be a fun week, a very fun week. All right, since I know that I want my background of both of these, let's go ahead and paint these in conjunction with each other so that we can. All right. And I think where I'm going to be using stencils is on the background. So we'll see what that looks like to bring that to life. There we go. That's all that I have to do on this one. All of this down here is going to be covered. So you just need to do these little sections. And I think I'm going to be using some of the polka dots, and I think I'll be using the snowflake stencil for these. And I'm just going to do those on the background. Let's see. I think actually the ho 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 one would be good for Santa there. And then we'll do that. We'll just use a combination of these stencils. How's that sound? I think that's a good idea. My phone keeps beeping. So think about the Santa, like I said, and the ways that he shares and how it's joyful. He is not giving to receive. He's not giving to receive. Let me zoom this out a little bit more so you can actually see both of the ones that I am doing here. There we go. Should be good. All right. It looks so different on YouTube than it does like normal. So we may resin these on Friday. We may do something fun with this set to take them up a notch. The first bundle I did not resin, but these would be so much fun to do that with. All right, those are good. Let's go ahead while we're waiting for these to dry. Let's go ahead and do everything that's white and use our paint pen for it. Let me move this up a little bit there. There we go. Now you can see both of them. There we go. All right, so we're going to use our white paint pen, and we're going to do every other one on our little peppermint frame here. And then we're going to do this. Let me look at my camera. His hair, no, his little beard, his nose and his beard right there. And then her hair is white as well. So let's do all these. I'm just going to color these in. Sometimes paint pens are the best things that you can use on ornaments and things like this versus using a paintbrush to get in all those little spots. Paint pens are amazing. Ooh, hold on. I just see something. It's giving me an error on something. Why? Let's see here. Thank you for bearing through. There we go. I think that's really good. All right. So I want you guys to think about what are some ways that you can bring the generosity and joy to life for each of these different ways. Think about that. Am I still in the camera view? Okay. And we may sponge these a little bit when we're done in case you maybe see the lines of my pen here. All right, let's let those dry and then we'll see if we need to do another coat or anything. Choop, 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 choop. And his little beard here. Phone is beeping. I'm in a group text. You know how those are. Once they get started, man, they're like ding, 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 ding. Pretty crazy. So I want you to think about the generosity of Santa. I'm going to chat a little bit more before we go to the next step. Think about the generosity of Santa. This kind of generosity, like I said, is visible, it's contagious, and it is rooted in delight. It's just one of those things that it just makes you smile. It's when you give boldly and joyfully because your heart is overflowing. So let's think of some things, examples that we can maybe do this holiday season to represent the joy of Santa. As you are doing these, I want you to think about each one and how you can bring this to life in this holiday season. So, I'm going to give you some examples of how you can be a Santa today. And I'm also going to give you examples of how you can be a Mrs. Claus. And then tomorrow, we'll do some other ones because we have the penguin, we have the reindeer, we have an elf. What do we have? We have a gingerbread man, we have a moose. So, let's start with Santa. Some examples may be bold generosity, paying for the car behind you in the drive-through. You're not doing it to be noticed, but because you genuinely want to brighten someone else's day. That is bold, okay? Paying for the coffee if you're going to Starbucks. Um, Maybe another way that you can um, just embrace the spirit of Santa is maybe buying an extra Christmas ornament. Or if you're making ornaments, it's ornament week in the shop this week. Maybe it's buying an extra Christmas ornament and gifting it to a neighbor who is feeling a little bit lonely. Maybe that's a great thing. Our middle section here is where we're going to start are, I guess it doesn't really matter, but you're just going to want to do every other one here. So think about that this week. One of the ways that you can bring Santa to life and exude his joyful spirit, grab an ornament. Maybe it's not one that you're getting from the shop this week. Maybe it's just one that you see at Dollar General or something like that when you're out and about, or Walmart. And maybe it just reminds you of your neighbor. And so I want you to think about that. Um, Maybe they don't see anyone for the holidays. And so maybe just gifting a small ornament to them, to a neighbor who's feeling lonely. This is one that Parker loves. Leaving a generous tip when you're going out for your waitress, and then just writing "You are appreciated" on the receipt. That's a great way to share that joyful giving, that joyful generosity. Maybe it's surprising your children's ministry at church with craft supplies just because I know I have a ton of stuff here in my craft room that probably just sits and I'm not going to use probably for years and years. And I know your craft room looks the same, but maybe it's putting a little box together with some extra supplies you have and donating it to the children's ministry at church or maybe a school or anything like that. Maybe it's sending flowers to a friend with a note just to remind her that she's loved. Maybe that's it. And then one that doesn't cost anything is just laughing and giving freely, even when your life is heavy, because you know that joy multiplies when it is shared. Santa's generosity is the kind that turns ordinary moments into holy celebrations. So I just want you to think about that. What are some things that you can do through the holiday season um, that shows that kind of joy, the bold, loud joy that Santa embodies? Let's make it a priority to embody a little bit of that as we go through this holiday season. All right, that one's done for Santa. Now let's talk about Mrs. Claus. We talked a little bit, and she has the nurturing generosity, the kind that's quiet on the outside. And so, what are some ways? Let me hop over here to the comments and see. Your plan is to paint these and donate them to your school for a children's Christmas store. I love that, Pam. I absolutely love that. Good morning, Nona. How are you? I hope you are feeling so much better. I hope you're feeling so much better. So, Mrs. Claus nurturing generosity, remember, this is the quiet kind. It's the ministry that happens in the background and it's often unseen. It's not about the big act like Santa Claus, but about the steady love that lingers. So, think about this. Maybe, maybe it's in making a meal for someone who's walking through a hard season. Maybe it's writing a handwritten note of encouragement to someone who might be struggling in their faith, or maybe just struggling through this holiday season because they've had a heavy year. Maybe there's been loss. And so maybe it's just that little handwritten note that doesn't even have to be signed, it can just be anonymous. Another way to emulate the generosity of Mrs. Claus would be praying intentionally for a friend who hasn't asked for it and just sending maybe a quick text that says, "Hey, you were on my heart today." Quiet, not boastful, not loud, quiet, gentle. Maybe it's um, heading over to a friend's house who is very overwhelmed and just cleaning up their kitchen, picking it up a little bit, showing up with coffee for a friend who just needs company. Maybe it's choosing to forgive quietly, to bless someone in your heart, even if you never know it. Mrs. Claus's generosity is the kind that really does knit all the hearts together. It heals quietly, but it's deep. Um, I was thinking the other day, there is someone in my life who we're not friends anymore. We used to be very, very, very good friends. Um, and I know that she has been afflicted with some hard times recently. And so just praying for her. She doesn't know I'm praying for her, but just doing that. And it just reminded me the other day, people don't always have to know that you're praying for them. You don't have to be loud and be like, "I prayed for you," or this or that. Um, it can be in the quietness of your heart and just in your time with the Lord. So that is maybe that's something that you can do every day. Maybe each day through this holiday season, you can every morning. Oh, there's a gnat. Y'all, we have gnats. I don't know why we have those. What are they called? Zevo or something like that? Oh man, the gnats are just terrible right now. Let's see. These look a little streaky. Let's see if we can. They might just still be that. They're not. They're not. We're gonna do another dose of white on it though. Not these, but these that we can use a sponge on. So maybe every morning as you're doing your quiet time, pick somebody to pray for each day through this holiday season. Okay. That is an amazing way of how you can bring the generosity that Mrs. Claus shows into your own life. And let me tell you, it does wonders for our own soul, you guys. Giving is something that you receive in return. Really, truly do. All right. This is also a fun project that you can do um, with some shading, like with some chalk. All of these little lines here that I am making stand out a little bit more prominently. We can put some shading in all of those areas and really bring them to life a little bit more. So when you are putting all of these together, I want you to think you might not realize it, but both kinds of this generosity is joyful and nurturing. They already live inside of you. One brings laughter, Santa. One brings peace, Mrs. Claus. One fills the air with sparkle, the other fills the room with warmth. But both reflect the heart of God. They both reflect the nature of God. So when you live from love instead of lack, generosity becomes your default. Your time and your presence and your creativity and your faith. And so I really want you to think about that as you go through this holiday season. Good. I'm so glad to hear that you're doing better, Nona. So glad to hear that you're doing better. So glad to hear that. All right. Let's paint his um let's see. Let's look at this little one right here real quick. Hold on. Because I don't remember. So that's white. All of this right here needs to be white as well, but we're just going to make his, um, let's paint this white just to there. And then we're going to paint his little, I did his um, shirt, body, whatever it is, white there, but we're going to do red because I think it should be red. So we're just going to paint red all around here. And it's okay if you go over these lines here because these lines right here are just showing where you are going to overlay some of your pieces. His little nose and mustache, and then his hands. All right, there we go. That's red. And now we need to do his hat red as well. And again, you can see that I'm not worried about those etchings on here because there's going to be overlays on them. All right, let's mix a little bit of white with the brown that we have here. And we're going to just kind of make a tan cream color. Might need a little bit more brown. Nope, I think we're good. Made enough here. So we need to paint his face, paint her face, and then also paint her hands. His hands we're going to paint black because those are going to have a little, these are going to be black, but we need his nose and his face here. There's his nose. Whatever cream color you want. I just took the brown from the collection, the holiday collection, and added a bunch of white to it. So actually, I just added a smidge of brown to a bunch of white. I'm going to take very little brown. All right, so here's his face. And it's going to be laid in here. And then we'll go over his eyes as well. So it's okay that we painted over those. And for her, it's the same thing, but we are going to paint her little hands. They look like little jelly beans. If you're confused and you're like, where are her glass or where are her hands? They do. They look like little jelly beans. And so we're going to paint right to here because her shirt is going to be a different color. Make sure you get behind the eyes and all that. And we're going to do her shirt pink. And actually, maybe we'll do her shirt pink and her little collar red. I did pink on both of the other ones, but maybe we'll just do a pink and a red. That way we bring some red into her. And then we are going to be using black, even though black isn't a part of the holiday collection. We are going to be using some black. And what do we say? Red on the shirt or red on this? Let's do red on this and let's do pink on this shirt. And then remember, we're also going to be using the red on all of our little peppermints here. Let's do a pink. Actually, we could make these to where they're not. You don't have to do red and white peppermint. You could do them to where they looked like winter green. You could do them to be whatever you wanted, actually. I think we will do ours in red, though. All right, there's that and that. Now we have to paint these with black. And then we'll go paint all of these with red. And then we'll do our stencils. That's going to be fun. I'm absolutely going to love that one. Gonna love that one. All right, let's go ahead and just use a black paint pen for these. I got a big one here, but I think all my little ones are upstairs. Oliver was with me this weekend and he loves painting, but he loves painting with paint pens. So all my paint pens are upstairs. So these are black because they're like Santa's little black gloves. He always has black gloves on, doesn't he? I don't know. He's going to in this one. Anyway, he's definitely going to in this one. We got something here that isn't working right. Is that his beard? He has a mustache. He has a mustache. He doesn't have a beard. Well, I guess you could. Maybe that is why I did that one white. He's just going to have a mustache today, though. Just like that. Now, also, we're going to take a paint pen and let's do their eyes. Let's color in their eyes a little bit. And you don't have to do that circle in the eyes. There is a marking there so you can see where those are having to be traced. Oops. Could have used a marker instead of a paint pen on these. That might have been a better. All right. And we're going to take, she's got her little mouth there. We're going to take and we're going to use, well, like a daughter tool. And there we go. She's got a little pink mouth. You could do it red. You could do it whatever you want. Is that where you were thinking it was his beard? Well, let's see how it looks when we put it together. We can always paint it white again, although it's red. So that might be a little bit of a challenge to cover that up. All right. Let's keep our stuff where it goes on this side. And let's do a little bit of the stenciling on here. So I think I want to do the ho ho ho. But let's see. I don't want it to be so overpowering. So let's think about just using a different green, maybe. We're going to be using some different colors on here if we do this. So I like the cottage green. Let's do that. We'll just make these all a little bit different. And remember, with stencils, you got to use one that is not, doesn't, you need to use a fresh one, not one that's been cut. All right, let's do it right there. Let's see what that looks like. So this one has hearts, or I'm sorry, stars and the ho ho ho. Oh, that's gonna look so cute. I love that little addition. So just think about that. You can do so many different things to make yours come to life with stencils, with foils. I also have, if you are inside the VIP group, I have some new foils that are going to be coming your way. All right. I think these are almost ready to start putting together, you guys. Let's go ahead and paint all of these so that we have some peppermints. We have some peppermints. So, what are some ways that you think you could embody the spirit of Santa or Mrs. Claus as you go through the holiday season? Let me know in the comments because it can maybe jumpstart some. I gave you a bunch of ideas, but you guys, I'm sure, are full of ideas as well. Don't forget that tomorrow we will be live at 1 p.m. Tomorrow's grandparents' day at my grandson's school, so we're going to go hang out with him for a couple hours. Really think I should have a different brush. This one kind of has some frayed hairs on the end of it that isn't, it's not working too well. Let's see. Why is this not working? Hold on. Hmm, something's wrong up here. Hold on a second. Forgive me. Hmm. Let's try that. It's like I'm having some delays and I'm not sure why. So Pam, she said she was going to paint hers and donate them to the schools for the children's Christmas store. That would be a fun thing that is like embracing the spirit of Mrs. Claus. Love that. All right, let's try and use this one. This one may not have some stray hairs on it. So again, if you want to resin these, we may do that on Friday. We may. I haven't quite decided. But if you don't want to, you can just spray them with a clear sealer and they will be gorgeous. But I know resin would be fun. But we're going to do the UV resin. We do the lazy way of doing resin because it's less messy. It's less messy. I think I'm really gonna love the stencils in that one. I think I'm gonna love that. What do you guys think? So when you are painting your frames, you're going to see some other lines in here, like you can see right here. Those are just placements for where you're going to put your hands. Okay, so each one is going to have an overlay. The moose has like the moose feet. You like the stencil look? We're going to have to do it on all of them now, so you're going to see how it comes together. But I do too. Um, but like you don't have to paint inside those. You just want to make sure you get all around that, just like that. Okay. You don't have to actually get all in there. That's just so you know where to glue down your hand. So what should we do for Mrs. Claus? Should we do maybe the snowflake stencils? The snowflake stencil is a little bit big. We could still probably do it. The ho 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 one is perfect for Santa Claus. There we go. So we're going to be doing 2 ornaments a day. So tomorrow will be 2 more, and then Wednesday and then Thursday. So Thursday, we will be painting the last 2 ornaments because there are 8 ornaments total. And so Friday is going to be something different. So make sure you are here on Friday. We will do some giveaways and chat, kind of do a wrap up session that kind of talks about everything that we've talked about and just brings it all together for you guys. I love that. I love that. I love that. That's so stinking adorable. You do need to use a tiny bit of paint on your sponge. Yes, I am not the best stenciler. I will say that, but less is more. Okay. If you're trying to do it and you have a lot of bleeding, that means you probably have too much paint on your pieces. Oh, and don't forget to paint the little stem up here. I think I forgot that. Let's get a little bit of, we'll just keep it. You could do it red, whatever. Let's just keep this one the color of here. Don't forget that. And we need to stencil her. So let's stencil her real quick before we go any further. We could do a peppermint. That might be fun. Let's see. Because this, we could do the snowflakes. We could just do them like this, maybe. Let's do it like that. So this one's gonna have snowflakes and little polka dots. And let's do it in the same green as well, just to keep them cohesive. But yes, you're putting very little paint on your sponge and just tap, tap, tap. There we go. So hers has some snowflakes now. I love it. Go ahead and wipe these off. Be careful with those little centers of that, though. You don't want to bend those, but we can keep them from drying on there a little bit. Oops. Let's put these cuties together. I'm excited for these. I'm excited. I'm excited. My little program that I'm using for here is not working for some reason. All right. We're going to glue the heart on first. Ooh, that's a lot. And we're going to dry some of that off because that's going to seep everywhere. All right. So you want to glue this on first. What's that? Hold on. There's something on there. There we go. Just like that. Cute, cute. Who's painting with me today? Is anybody painting with me today? So now we're going to do, this has a big hole. I need to probably grab one that has a smaller hole. Let's go ahead and nestle her down in there. Wait a minute. Hold on. That's the Santa one. Yeah. Her hands didn't line up. So make sure you got the right one. I think we have enough glue on here that it can go. There we go. Yep. Now we can put her down there. Then we're going to put some here for her hat. Let me grab one that has a smaller hole in it. That's not really a smaller hole either. You plan on painting it later today. I love that. This one might have a smaller hole. Let's do a little bit here. Maybe. There we go. Let's do a little bit here on her little collar. And then her glasses we'll do separate. There's her little hands. So they're like peeking over the edge. Ooh, I really, really like the stencils on these. It's a great addition, I think. But if you don't have stencil, you can make your own snowflakes. Any of that. Look how cute she is. Oh my goodness. You're painting with me, but you're slower. That is quite all right, my friend. That is quite all right. All right, so now we're going to put him down here, put his little face in here, and hope that we have everything painted the way it should be. We'll do his little hands. We'll do up here. We'll do his nose. There we go. I love the ho 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 on that, you guys. I think that was a really, really great addition. So I don't think it matters if you do red or black or red or white down here. I think that it looks really, really good. So we also did some pin work. And so let me pull that picture up again. So I did pin work with a little black pin in there. You like them? So cute. I think they do too. I really, really like the stencils on the back. It just makes them a little bit different. So let's do a little bit of pin work here. Do it there. Let's do some here. We could also burnish. We could do some burnishing around our. And we could just do like that there. And let's go ahead and trace these like that. It's going to make them stand out a little bit more. There we go. Makes it a little bit more whimsical and standing out on there a little bit. Let's see. Let's do some dots here on each of the whites. Do the same on Santa. And actually, we might do some swooshes on the red. Let's do some squigglies on the red there. There we go. I love it. Just scribble. That's it. Makes it easy. Just scribble. Super cute. Super, super cute. Let's take a little white pen and let's put a little dot in each of their eyes. A little bit of highlight there. There you go. Yep, I can definitely and I'm gonna post it inside the group as well. That way it's gonna be a better picture than your screenshot. It'll be a much better picture than your screenshot. But yes, you can do that right there. But I will post this inside the group as well, Anne. So this is the ones we worked on today. And you can see that we brought them to life a little bit differently. We're going to do some stenciling on the back of all of them. Um, Here's this one. Let me get it right in the camera. Sorry. Ho, ho, ho. I love that stencil behind it. And then here's the one with the snowflakes behind it. You're welcome, Anne. You are so welcome. All right. So I want you guys to think about as you venture through the holiday season of how you can bring these to life, how you can bring the bold generosity of Santa to life in your own holiday season, and how you can bring the gentle, nurturing type of um, Mrs. Claus. Okay. So, how can you give joyfully this season? I want you to think about that. How can you give joyfully this season? Not just in gifts, but maybe in your time, in your presence, in your prayers. I want you to take a moment to answer that or simply just whisper it to God as you paint. Because, like I said, sometimes the smallest offerings, a word, a smile, a heart turned towards heaven, are the ones that change everything. So, giving generously, generosity can look so very different, loud and bold, quiet and nurturing. So, I want you to think about that as you go through your holiday season. And I want you to challenge yourself to give it in both ways. What does that generosity look like for you in bringing it to life boldly? What does that generosity look like to you in bringing it to life with the soft and nurturing type of generosity? So, as you venture through your holiday season, I want you to think about that. Anytime you see these ornaments, maybe as you're pulling out your holiday decorations and you have a Santa that you are, or maybe an ornament, another ornament that you're putting on the tree, I want you to think about that and just hold it close to your heart as you go through this holiday season. We're going to touch on so much more this week as we go through the reindeer. Let's see. We have a reindeer, a moose, an elf, snowman, a gingerbread man, and a little penguin. And we're going to be bringing these all to life every day this week. And so I'm so excited that you guys are here with me. I hope that this workshop blesses you and helps you become more intentional as we venture into the holiday season that typically can be a lot of chaos and a lot of grief and maybe some pain. And I just want you to just have intention as you are navigating this holiday season. And that's what this workshop is all about. Understanding what we can learn from Santa, what we can learn from the snowman, what we can learn from the penguin, and bringing it to life every day so that we are sharing not only the joy of the holiday season, but the joy of Christ through the season with us. So, thank you guys for being here today. I will see you tomorrow at 1 p.m. Okay. Every day this week will be at 9 a.m., with the exception of tomorrow. Tomorrow's Grandparents' Day. And so I want to make sure that you remember tomorrow is at 1 p.m. It's going to be just like this. I will post the link inside the Facebook group for you to have access to this all the time. It will not go away in 30 days since we are hosting them here on YouTube, but they will all be housed inside the Facebook group. Okay. If you have any questions, let me know. And also share your completed ornaments, share them with others. Maybe share a story of something that you may try to implement or something that made you stop and think as you were painting it. Share that when you share your pictures because it really does inspire others in their creativity, in their walk with God, and in their walk through this holiday season. So, thank you, Sheila. I will definitely take pictures for you guys. So, I love you, and I will see you very soon. Bye.